my name is Jess Blair. This is a video of a dietary habits consultation filmed on the 28th of July. Hey Deb, how are you going?
Good, thanks Jess. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for coming down today, taking a step to come and see about some nutrition advice. It's great that you've taken that step for some advice regarding your nutrition. So today what I'm going to do is find out exactly what's brought you down here and what advice you'd like from me. And then I'm going to ask you some questions and get a bit of an idea of your daily diet and whatnot. Then I'll take you through a dietary habits questionnaire, which will get into the number of serves per day that you would normally have. And then at the end of the session, we'll hopefully think of some strategies and things that you might be able to change to work towards your goal of getting a bit fitter and healthier. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So first up today, I just want to mention my role as a personal trainer and the things that I can advise you in regards to your nutrition. I'm not fully qualified to sort of give you anything too personalised. That's sort of the role of a dietitian. So if that's something that you're after at the end of the session, I can refer you to a dietitian. But our role as a personal trainer is sort of to just give you some advice based on a guide to healthy eating, which is 5 guidelines. I'll show you here. And I'll give you this brochure to take home as well if you like. So the Australian Dietary Guidelines are 5 guidelines which we follow to really a well-rounded, balanced, healthy lifestyle for general well-being. Guideline 1 is what we are pretty much doing together here today and in the gym with our sessions, is to achieve and maintain a healthy weight, being physically active and choosing the right amounts of the right foods for your energy intake and your energy expenditure. Guideline 2 is what we're going to be looking at today, is in regards to the 5 food groups. So you would be familiar probably with the food pyramid. Well, this is a bit of an updated version. It's now a pie chart of the 5 food groups, and the recommended daily intakes are up here of the things that you should be eating every day. So it is, as I said, it is a much more updated version of the food pyramid that we used to use years ago. So I can give you one of those to take home, a larger version obviously, and next to each segment of the pie chart I can write how many serves per day, so that helps you get those serves in every day. So the 5 food groups are obviously vegetables, fruits, dairy, lean protein and protein alternatives, and grains. And I always like to mention number 6, which is drinking plenty of water every day. Guideline 3 is limiting pretty much anything that's not one of those food groups. So that's saturated fats, things with added salt and sugar. So obviously you would know like snack foods like chips and biscuits and lollies and chocolates. And also that includes alcohol. If you choose to drink alcohol, limiting the intake or limiting the days in which you drink alcohol. Number 4, encouraging and promoting breastfeeding. Obviously, your time's gone with that, but that is guideline number 4. And guideline number 5 is in regards to the way that you store and prepare your foods, and storing it obviously in the fridge, thawing out meats in the fridge, cooking it correctly to obviously avoid food poisoning, salmonella, all that jazz. So that is essentially what us as personal trainers use in regards to offering nutrition advice. And as I mentioned, if there is something that you're after a bit more personal, then I can refer you to a dietitian. So first up, I'm going to just get you to have a bit of a chat to me about your diet in general, including your lifestyle, going out to socialise, things like that. So starting off with perhaps breakfast. You eat breakfast every day?
Yeah, I do eat breakfast every day.
What do you normally eat for breakfast?
Toast and avocado.
Awesome. Do you all eat that most mornings?
And most mornings.
If you weren't to have poached eggs, would you ever have like a cereal or
I'd probably have
toast
oats
or oats?
with blueberries, banana.
Oh, awesome. That's a really good start, and you would never skip breakfast.
No, never.
Never. Do you have tea, coffee?
Tea.
Tea? Always with breakfast?
Yeah.
And then you have recently changed jobs since we started working together,
Yeah.
haven't you? So you were at a more physical job?
Yes.
And now you're in an office?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you go with lunch? Do you always take your lunch?
I take my lunch.
Always take your lunch? And what do you normally take for lunch?
Usually take chicken and salad wrap.
Very
or,
good.
Or ham and salad, whatever.
Yep. Is there any time that you wouldn't take your lunch? Or in the case that you didn't have your lunch prepared, what would you do for lunch?
Oh,
Is there some options around?
sometimes I might go to Woolies and get one of their soups
Okay, yep.
and a bread roll from Brumbies.
That's pretty good. Not bad. Is it very often that you would forget your lunch?
No.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, it sounds like you're pretty prepared with your lunch at work. Do you ever have snacks or anything when you're at work?
I have a biscuit with a cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that's in the kitchen at work?
Yeah.
And
I have a banana.
Mm-hmm. Do you find being in an office you tend to snack more than you would usually?
No.
No, well, that's awesome
Don't
because
have
that's
time.
yeah, fair enough. Well, that's normally pretty typical at a desk job. You've got a bowl of nuts or something that you snack on, or some lollies in your drawer. But that's awesome if you've avoided that. So you obviously keep pretty busy at your job.
Yeah.
That's awesome. When you're sitting at your desk, do you have your bottle of water there?
Yeah.
And you're drinking plenty of water?
Yes.
How much water do you think you drink per day?
Probably not enough, but probably at least a litre.
Oh, that's awesome. I was going to say at least a litre is probably the minimum. It is hard, I know, to get your water in, especially if you're busy, to think about taking that sip every now and then. But if you're getting at least a litre, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we've got a water bottle.
Oh, awesome. Socialising. Do you go out to socialise?
Not very often.
Not often. Well, that's good. How often do you think you would go out to socialise? A couple of times a month, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Just depends what's going on, I guess.
Yeah.
Oops. But you don't often go out for
To eat? No.
not to eat. Do you often go out like to meet a friend for lunch during the week or anything like that? Not often.
Not
Okay,
often.
very good. Times per month. Well, that's pretty good. I'll just quickly touch on dinner. What would you normally have for dinner? Your dinners are normally pretty good.
Vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Steak or lamb chops. Or
Yeah.
Pork or just meat and veg usually.
Yeah, meat and veg normally.
Maybe pasta once a week.
Oh, I've written that twice. Okay, meat, veg, and sometimes like a pasta or a curry or something like that. That's pretty good. You've got a good variety there in your dinners. Well, now that I've got a bit more of an understanding of your diet and lifestyle, I'll take you through the questionnaire. So this is something that we use with all of our clients to get a bit of a guide as to number of servings, which is back referring to that pie chart that I was saying, and the number of serves in the pyramid that we used to use. So I'll quickly go through that. First up, do you have any allergies, intolerances, anything to food? Fantastic. All right. How many serves of vegetables would you usually eat per day? And I'll give you that as a bit of a guide. The writing's pretty small, but if you can see, one serve is equivalent to about half a cup of cooked veggies, a cup of salad, half a medium potato.
Probably.
So let's
I have
start
half
with,
a cup on my lunch at least.
Yeah.
And
So let's say you've got half a cup of salad in your wrap or your salad or whatever it is. And then for dinner you might have.
Well, I'd have broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, carrot, sweet potato, and corn sometimes.
Perfect. So we'll say that half a medium potato or sweet potato, so that would be one serve.
Yeah.
You serve with lunch, and we'd say you probably have another half a cup, if not a whole cup of veggies.
Yep.
So we'll say that's 4. That's pretty good. The recommended serves is 5, so you're pretty much hitting that. An extra half a serve, an extra whole serve would take it exactly to the 5, so that's pretty spot on. How many serves of fruit would you usually eat per day?
Oh,
So that's that. And medium apple or banana,
probably just
orange,
one.
just one. That's not too bad either. Recommended is 2. If you're not much of a fruit person or a snacking person, then yes, it could be hard to get that fruit in. But if you are eating, as you said, sometimes you would have oats with fruit.
Yeah.
Then you might be getting a serve of berries in the morning, and then you might be having your banana for morning tea or whatever, and then that's 2 serves already. So that's pretty good as well. Bread, cereals, grains.
Fruit juice counts too, does it?
Yeah, half a cup of fruit juice.
Because I usually have. Oh, I have just started having prune juice in the morning.
Okay, well that's probably counting as well. So I would actually make a mark here, so that you would probably hit the 2 to 3, depending on what you're having for breakfast. Bread, cereals, grains. So that's 1 slice of bread, a roll, half a cup of rice pasta noodles.
Well, I would have 2 slices of bread for breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
and I would have the wrap for lunch.
Mm-hmm. So that's 3.
And
And then perhaps if you're having rice pasta or noodles with dinner, or I guess if you're not having the bread with breakfast, you would having oats. So that's the one. So you're probably having 2 to 3, 3 max, 3 to 4, probably closer, which is good. 4 is the recommended. How many serves of dairy? So that's a cup of milk, 2 slices of cheese, 3/4 of a cup of yogurt. Well, let's think about how many cups of tea or coffee you would have a day.
I'd have a cup of milk over the day, I suppose.
Okay. And a few cups of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I was having cereal.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever have cheese in your
Yeah, I
wrap?
have cheese in my wrap, usually.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
So we'll say a cup of milk, and perhaps some cheese.
Yeah.
So I'll say 2 to 3.
So if I eat ordinary cereal, like not oats, but if I have like
some muesli or
something, I usually have
milk
yogurt on that.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. So that's 2, or at least 2. Obviously depending on what you're eating. And the recommended is 2. So that's pretty good. And lastly, how many serves of meat or lean alternatives? So that's any sort of lean meat. It was a bit tricky because the red meat or poultry, it says 100 grams raw is 1 serve. And I think typically as a population, our protein serves are bigger.
Yeah.
I could quite easily eat 200 grams, 300 grams steak, whereas they're saying that 100 grams is 1 serve.
Yeah, no, I'd have at least 200 grams probably.
Yeah.
Of any meat, like chicken, anything.
Yeah. Well, if you think about chicken, 100 grams is about 2 tenderloins.
Yeah.
So that's pretty small.
Yeah.
200 grams is probably about 200 to 300 is closer to a whole breast.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat a whole breast, but
yeah.
I'd say 2 serves in the meat, like at dinner.
Yeah.
And if I have eggs, well, it would be 3
1
serves.
serve,
Yes, that'd be 3 serves in a day.
And then any seeds, nuts, anything like that.
Oh, I'm not a snacker really, so.
Okay. Well, I'll say 2 to 3, which is again pretty close to spot on. 4 serves is the recommended, so again that's pretty spot on. And then lastly is not mentioned on this sheet here, but is discretionary choices. So that's obviously choices that you make at your discretion, and those ones that I mentioned in guideline 3, which are the foods high in saturated fats, which is salts and whatnot, and which also include alcohol. So that could be ice cream, chocolate, cakes, soft drinks.
Well, I wouldn't eat those things every day, probably.
So this is in regards to a whole week.
Oh, in a whole week? So I might have, I'd probably have some wine every day.
How many glasses of wine do you think?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Okay. So that's days a week? Just about?
Yeah, five days.
Okay, so we'll say 3 glasses of wine 5 days a week would be 15. Right, so that's 10 plus. The discretionary choices there isn't a recommended, obviously. Recommended is 0, but that's in a perfect world and no one is perfect. You've got to have a little bit of chocolate here and there for your sanity. So that's not too bad if you're not snacking on, cakes and ice creams and chocolates and whatnot.
I might have ice cream once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
As I said, in a perfect world, everyone's got to have those little things.
And every now and again, a chocolate bar or something.
Yeah, exactly. And
I don't have it every day.
No, that's right. Well, that's definitely a great start if you're not having those sorts of things every day. That's obviously the wine is what took you to the 10 plus. So at this stage, I would say no to referring you onto a dietitian. I don't think that you need anything to personalise at this stage. I think you can make some great changes. You've already got a fantastic base with your serving sizes. You obviously know what is good and what's not, and you can definitely make some great changes on your own, I think. But in the future, if you did want anything more personalised, they can really look into your lifestyle, your medical history, all of that, give you a really personalised meal plan. So I'll say no to needing a referral, but at this stage we'll make some strategies. So these are some strategies I want at least to make 3 together to work towards your goal of becoming a little bit fitter and healthier. So I'll let you go first if there's anything that pops into your head.
I know that first one.
Yeah?
Less alcohol.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, good. It's a good thing that you've brought it up yourself. Let's be a bit more specific to less alcohol. How do you want to reduce it?
Probably not drink Monday to Friday would be a good idea.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of people tend to drink just weekends, so Friday night, Saturday night, and then go back to not drinking during the week. So do you want to make that strategy number 1? Okay. No alcohol. Monday to Friday. Fantastic start. Number 2, is there anything else that stands out for you that you would like to change? I think for you, these serves per day are, as I said, pretty much hitting them within 1 or 2 for a couple of them. So, as I said, the vegetables really is only 1 extra serve per day. The fruit maybe 1 extra serve per day as well. So
yeah, I probably should eat more fruit.
Yeah, so even if you are having your poached eggs in the morning, you could have an orange or an apple or something as well as that, as long as it's not too much food. That would automatically, if you're having your banana with your morning tea or your lunch, whatever you're having your banana with, then that would already be 2. So that's a really easy one if you want to.
Yeah.
That's one of your strategies. If you think that's pretty achievable.
Yeah, that's pretty achievable.
Add 1 piece of fruit per day. All right. Number 3. Anything else that you can think of?
Maybe take some yogurt to work for like afternoon tea or morning tea.
Yep. That would definitely help you with your dairy serves, as we were saying, that give or take, depending on what you're having for breakfast, you might be lacking that 1 serve. So one tub of yogurt would be ideal. So 1 yogurt per day, and that would, I would say, most days that would definitely up you to that 2 to 3 serves, which is ideal. Just in regards to dairy, we like to, I think you drink skim milk, is that correct? Yeah. We would always recommend low fat dairy because obviously dairy does contain fat. So anything upwards of 3 serves sort of does increase your fat intake as well. So if you're already choosing low fat, then that's perfect. Anything else that you would like to include? No, I think looking at your serves per day, as I've said a couple of times now, you're pretty much hitting them. So I'm pretty happy with those. I'm just going to add here for number 4 is to just continue with your water. you said you've got your water on your desk, just making sure that you're getting that down every day. And I sort of like to have it in my range of, I walk past and go, oh, there's my water bottle, I'll have a sip. Like if you've got it on your desk, just make sure every time you look at it, oh, I better have a sip. So I'll just add that in for number 4 in, I'll just write continue with water intake. Okay, well that's 4 strategies that we can start working on as of this week. You think those are all pretty achievable?
Yeah.
Pretty easy to. That's fantastic. We'll review them in a couple of weeks. I'll see you next week anyway for our next session in the gym. I'll check in with that first strategy with no alcohol Monday to Friday and see how you're going. If you're finding it a little bit tricky, we can review it. We can make it a little bit easier for you. We're slowly working towards that main goal. And then otherwise, I'll see you in the gym.
Thanks.
Thanks, Deb.